Alright, I'm going to help you get started on the geometric functions assignment, and I'm going to show you how to do it using the online solution we found. So if you just Google Codiva, the top result here, codiva.io, if you choose that one, you can either create an account, or if you already have an account, feel free to sign in, or you can just try it without logging in. And you can select Java, create a project, and this gives us an editor as well as an output window down here. In this assignment, we're going to make a program that does several different things. I'm just going to paste out what the assignment included. So you're going to have 5 things that are required, as well as 3 extra credit things. So I'll just separate these. And I'll comment this all out as well. Alright, so I'm going to help you start with the first one. And I put spaces between each of these tasks so that it's easier to see which part of the code does what. And the first thing we're going to do, actually going to do outside of all of those, we're going to create a scanner object. Let's call it keyboard reader. And we're going to have to include scanner. We're going to have to say import java.util.scanner, semicolon, and then we're allowed to use this object. So let's start out with a prompt for the user to enter a height and a width value. So we'll start with the height. Enter a rectangle's height. And then we can save the response from the user as a variable, and because it's going to be used in a calculation, we need it to be a number variable, a number data type. And let's make it a double so that it can hold decimal values. So let's say double height rectangle, and set it to be keyboard reader dot next double, capital D. And then we need to do the same thing for the width. So if you want to just copy and paste these 2 lines and then change them a little bit, you can. I'm just typing it all out for fun. So we say enter a rectangle's width, and then we need to save the response. And now we have all the input we need in order to perform this operation. And it turns out the formula to calculate the area is very simple. It's just multiply the height by the width. So let's save that result as a double. We'll say area rectangle, that's a good name I think for this, equals width rectangle multiplied by height rectangle. And let's just output that at the end. The area of that rectangle is plus area rectangle. Okay, let's test this. So if I click run, I have the window down here that says enter a rectangle's height. I click on the input field here, and I'm going to test by saying 4. Press enter, and then it asks for width. I'm going to say 8. And it should just multiply these together, right, which would be 32. And it says the area of that rectangle is 32. Now, of course, in a math class, they'll probably expect you to have the units, so it's implied that this 4 represents a number of inches or a number of meters or something, and then the total area would be inches squared or meters squared. But just for the purpose of this assignment, we're not going to have the units, just assume that this 32 represents a number of inches squared or meters squared or something. Alright, the next several parts you can do on your own, as long as you know what the formula is for each one. In fact, I'll even tell you the formula here. So the area of a square given one side length, well, let's just multiply that length by itself, right? It would be length times length, right? And then the volume of a cube is actually length times length, or length cubed, right? The area of a right triangle is pretty special. Because it's a right triangle, we can just treat it as half of a rectangle. So if you just multiply the 2 leg lengths of that right triangle and then divide it by 2, you'll have the area of that triangle. So it would be length 1 times length 2, and then divide that by 2. Which, of course, the operator for divide is not the percent sign. It is the slash. The area of a circle, if you know its radius, is pretty simple. It's pi r squared, and r represents the radius. So you can just say radius times pi. Now, pi is a special value that you're welcome to just use an approximation for. You can just type 3.14. Or if you want to use a more precise number for pi that Java already knows, you can just type math.pi. And that should work as well. Okay, and if you want to do these extra credit ones and you need some help, feel free to email me. I'll try to get back with you as soon as I can. Once you're finished with this assignment, you can turn it in by selecting all of the code here and copying it and paste that into the text entry submission in the submission tool on Canvas, and you should be good to go.